was, we had ordered a half a cow, and then I had all these dental issues, ended up losing my teeth, or, well, getting into myself losing my teeth, or maybe dying. So I decided to go ahead and lose my teeth, and I've been dealing with issues since then, trying to get everything taken care of. So we didn't get through all of the food because I couldn't eat it, and I am the one in the household that cooks. So things happen, and we went ahead and before we knew this was happening, went ahead and got another cow, went in with a family member, and that cow is going to be processed for the next couple of months. So we have to get all of the freezer space back for the next portion for the next cow. So that hence made this insanity, which is me trying to get our freezer cleaned out. So this did take an entire day. It was exhausting. There were 10 pounds of Dr. meat, 10 pounds of sloppy Joe meat, 5 pounds of meatballs, and 5 pounds of hamburger patties. And yes, the dogs are with me in the kitchen the entire time, just waiting for my clumsy ass to drop something. So I did eventually. They were very happy dogs by the end of the day because they got a lot of stuff. In between all of the meat cooking, I had a ton of zucchini to process. So while I was waiting for all of that to happen and getting it all cooked, because I only have small hands, I went through and I did some zucchini. At this point, I am learning that I went on TikTok and found out about this slicer that does noodles, and I was like, wow, that looks like my slicer. So I turned it over and figured out that mine does noodles, and right now I am angrily chopping up zucchini because I didn't realize my thing did noodles. I did end up doing a lot of the noodles because we do like those. It takes forever to find them at the grocery store. So I did process some of the zucchini into like noodles that we can use. And yeah, there was a lot of zucchini. Like, you have 5 or 6, you're like, oh, that's not that much. Well, it's helpful. It's so good. And then taco meat, I had to end up using our crock pot because I didn't have anything else where all the meat would fit. So I did it incrementally just to make sure everything would fit. There were 6 pounds that went in the freezer, 4 pounds for the freeze dryer of the taco meat. This is how you become an accidental prepper, lose your teeth. I never expected that I would be doing anything that would like make this much food all at once and have all the ways to preserve it. But our first winter here taught us that we need to be prepared because between the rain and the snow, there were multiple times that we just got snowed in or rained in and the roads were washed out and we couldn't get out to get food. We couldn't go to the grocery store, nothing. So lessons learned, and I decided that this would probably be the best way to go about it. And think, if there's an apocalypse and we die, some happy person is going to stumble upon our house and just find a whole bunch of them. So, yeah, that one didn't measure out quite right, but it's whatever. The food saver is awesome. I love the food saver. However, with zucchini, it gets a little angry at you because there's so much water in it that if you don't get like a ton of it out, it doesn't want to see it. And I am flattening them because that takes up way less space. So much less space in your freezer. And then in our basement we have a deep freeze, which I keep the pre-made meals in, and like steaks and things like that. And then we have a standing freezer out in the garage, which I kept all of this meat in. And I love my standing freezer much more than the deep freeze. The deep freeze was here at the house when we bought it. We did bring our standing freezer with us. I just like the standing freezers better because I can see what is there without having to dig and freeze myself to death with trying to figure out what's in the deep freeze. So by this point, I'd already been prepping food with my daughter, so we had like 10 or 11 pizzas that when I stick in the freezer, you just pop out and just pop them in. I don't have every one. I do have to wait for one pizza a week or else they. So luckily, she really likes my homemade pizza. However, she will eat one every single day, and I think it's the last longer than that because the dough is not a pain. It takes a long time because you just let it rise and do all the things. This is our sloppy dough. I've always made them whichever one. That tomato, chili peppers in it. Had my garden marked out so that one did too. This would have all been however it is. Rotel it is. Just going to keep packaging things up and keep on going. By this point, I think I'm fairly angry and tired, and I have not eaten because preparing all the food at the same time, it did not lead me to want to eat anything. I think it was like halfway through the next day when I actually got hungry from handling all this food. You do eventually have a process for that waiting time while everything is happening with the food saver. However, at this point, the zucchini had already made me extremely angry. So I was not going to leave the food saver alone because it was being rude. And needed to be taught a lesson that I needed it to work. However, right before I started editing this video, I did break my food processor. So, while transferring all the footage, I had to order a new one off of Amazon. Alright, and these, I believe, are meatballs. Like, these will not last very long in the house. At all. Me and my husband will just eat right through them. My daughter is not a huge red meat eater, so she doesn't normally touch any of the red meat, and I normally just keep chicken and pizza stuff and things that she likes around. And she's supposed to get home this afternoon, and I'm going to see if she will bake up some bread, because she loves to bake. So I have donned her the baker of the house, so she makes the treats and the bread and stuff like that. Alright, so for the freeze dryer, I do pre-freeze stuff, because it just goes so much faster, y'all. Trust me, it takes off a lot of that time. And that, in the freeze dryer, it still took 18 hours for that to freeze dry. So once that was done the next day, I packaged it up and I put in the sloppy joe stuff, which then took another 18 hours. So all in all, this took 3 days on and off. Like, the massive prep was 1 full day. And then the freeze dryer, I had to toss it in and wait. I think it took us longer to clean up all the dishes. And like, I would clean as I went. There was only so much space. So yeah, the cleanup took a while. And I was exhausted. Like, this put me down for a hot minute once I was done. I don't think I did much the next day except for just work like I needed to because it was Monday and do the minimum of what I needed to do. However, it did spawn off like a, hey, this will be extremely helpful because all this stuff is already done. And so that made me think about doing like a year's worth of grocery shopping, and I figured that out, and I did that this past Friday. Ended up having a panic attack because I hate grocery shopping. But hey, I only had to do it once, and that should get us by for like, at minimum, 8 months. Minimum. If it doesn't last that long, I'm going to be angry. But it should. Like, we'll still have to go for random things because I'm still figuring out how to, like, cut cheese from a block that we ordered off of Azure Standard. And that led me to breaking my food processor. Cheese broke my food processor because I didn't realize you weren't supposed to use that. And I've never had block cheese except for, like, Colby, which you shred up and, like, make spaghetti and cheese with. So I didn't know that would break it. And it broke it. So that guy's on the way. I did this exact same thing for the Sloppy Joes the next morning, and I think I forgot to hit record or something. But that is 30 pounds of ground beef, all prepped, ready to go, and we even got some into long-term food storage. And if there's too much of that at some point, I have a ton of friends who like camping and hiking, which this stuff is almost perfect for. So I can just give them a care package to take with them, and everybody is good. Thank y'all, and I hope you have a wonderful week.